Well, it all began something like this. And then it ended up something like this.
He's getting hit by a much slower fighter. Whoa. And wait a minute! They've gone Royal Rumble WWE style.
Bloody hell, what is going on? So back in the day before social media and all that bollocks, new prospective fighters could rock up to the pro game with no pressure on their shoulders whatsoever. They cruised through a string of winnable fights, finding their feet, taking it easy, and nobody gave a shit. Basically because nobody knew them. I mean, half the time they didn't even make the TV broadcast, and it weren't until many fights in that they begin to acquire a fan base. But then, around about 2006, that weird fucker Mark Zuckerberg turned up, then social media exploded, and now before they've laced up a glove professionally, before they've even set foot in the ring for that debut, they've been hyped up to the max through Faceagram and all that jazz. And now everybody knows them. They simply got nowhere to hide. Now okay, the hype train has worked well for people like Anthony Joshua back in the day. It looks like it's working alright for Moses Atuma nowadays, for example. But then the hype train didn't go so well with people like Campbell Hatton, I don't know, Lewis Ritson, Mac Mudoff, or worst of all, Nkosi Sullivan. Bloody hell. Yes, an American heavyweight that Eddie was raving about before he turned pro, and then he went and lost on his debut. Oh, but that weren't all though. One fight later and he went and failed a drugs test, the total fucking yoghurt. Try and top that one, blimey. Anyway, which leads me on nicely to possibly the most hyped up boxer in recent memory, old Benjamin Whittaker, who's now standing at a very important crossroads. So it weren't too long ago I made a video called Idiot or Brilliant, and yes, personal opinion, but I edged towards brilliant. I said, well, in terms of earning massive money in a very difficult sport, it's fair to say that Ben's certainly going the right way. I mean, if you make a lot of noise early on, by the time you get round to the high level fights, your paychecks are going to be through the roof. And here we are 10 fights in and he's probably earning a fortune for this fight. But I also said, like a lot of people did, if he's doing all this dancing bollocks against the lower level, he'd best be doing it against the higher level opponents as well. Otherwise, that is just total shithousery. And you know, against Liam Cameron, well, let's just say the showboating went out the window. Anyway, we'll come back to that in a minute, but old Benjamin walked into the game a very respectable Olympian silver medalist, but it was the debut fight where we all went, okay, this is interesting. You don't see many newbies rock up with this much front.
Expectations of him, but it's I think he likes the expectations, he likes the pressure, he likes the hype.
To do that and not have been quite successful yet.
Lovely use of the right hand, slippery skills of Whittaker, in and out, the razzle-dazzle. Well, I think in the opening 3 minutes we've seen... And it was a big shot to get his signature for Ben Shalom, and he's first on his feet.
And yes, he started as he meant to go on. Now you gotta give Ben some credit, because as you can see, these early opponents are actually pretty game, to be fair. Normally the prospect gets a load of fucking meter readers who don't throw back, but in Ben's case it looks as though he was chucked in against some actual fighters in his first 9 bouts. Okay, they obviously weren't on his level, but they all came to win. And only one opponent had a losing record, which was Mr. Khalid Gradia, who happened to be the man to take Ben Whittaker from exciting prospect to social media hyped up sensation with this unforgettable performance.
Back to business! Good lad! Keep it on! Keep it on! Keep it on, lad!
So there we are, old Grady was left with egg on his face. And talking of eggs, click my link below to get yourselves pay-per-view ready for April the 26th. Oh, Eubank Jr. versus Ben, live on Disney. I can't fucking wait, I gotta be honest, and it's got a nice sexy undercard as well. Terrific stuff. My link is below, so don't miss out, it's gonna be carnage. Anyway, yes, the clips went mental viral, celebs were sharing it, Ben's following went through the roof, and he seriously divided opinion.
He put himself out there where he's going to be the Marmite fighter. I think, people are going to love him. The younger generation are going to absolutely fall in love with him like they did Naz. And the older generation are going to be a little more, he needs to be put in his place. And I've said to him, listen, what you do, the showboating, I'm not a huge fan of, but do it more. Don't stop doing it.
So yes, a mixed bag it would seem, but as for me, I fucking loved it. I don't give a monkeys. Anyone showing entertaining similarities to Naz and I am all in, baby. It gave us something to talk about, yes. And best of all, to be fair, he was backing it up, weren't he? Obviously it was a lower level, but still he looked smashing. 5 knockouts from 6 and some were worthy of a highlight reel. Then, with anticipation high with more eyeballs on him than ever before, we had the Willings fight on the Wardley Clark undercard. And yeah, there was some showboating here and there, but not as much as before. But overall, the performance was just a little bit meh.
Jim has a little bit of a wild swing. Whittaker, who shimmies in front of him, playing the matador to the ball, but Willings does manage to get hold of him too.
Yeah, and then we had the Aranyeka fight, and other than this cracking little headbutt, bosh, it was also, sorry to say, a little bit boring.
To know that if he does that against Whittaker, then, well, he will be falling right into the surge round the back of the guard, but Aranyeka looks to try and fire back, catches him with an overhand right there. Used those ropes, came back off them. It's decent work from him. He's putting the punches together a bit more here, but just walked onto an uppercut there from Whittaker.
So you can't sugarcoat it. The obvious conclusion was here he is now stepping up a level, and the power just ain't having the same impact. He's clearly outboxing them, but it's fair to say at no point were they ever buzzed or hurt, and going forward that could be a bit of a worry. Then Liam Cameron came along, and it turns out it was a big fucking worry.
On that upper body movement can get you in trouble. Ben Whittaker can be flat-footed.
The shot again, and he's upping the tempo. He's sort of found that self-belief now.
You know, pressure from people like us who say he lacks a bit of power, a bit of strength.
Nice right hand from Cameron. As Whittaker says, no, he just hit me on the arm.
But he's boxing the wrong fight.
That mouthpiece comes out. Hey, Whittaker, drop your hands and start showboating a little bit.
Yeah, well, it sounds stupid, but like, he has a flow and a rhythm to his work when he's showboating.
Where's the movement, guys, from Whittaker we're being educated about? He's getting hit by a much slower fighter. Whoa. And wait a minute! They've gone Royal Rumble WWE style.
So there we go, no other way to say it than a great big balls up for everyone involved. And as fast as Ben had garnered thousands of fans, he managed to lose thousands of fans even quicker. And it's put him in a very, very tough position.
Ben Whittaker versus Liam Cameron, a lot of people calling the accusation that he quit in that fight. What did you feel about that situation?
He quit. He has to take the quitness for him to be a better fighter.
The sharpness wasn't there. You know, the Sky commentators, they can't say it, but I'll say it. For me, it looked like he bottled it.
Ben Whittaker. I'd had more respect for him if he would have got stopped or knocked Spark out. But pulling a funny move, jumping over the rope and faking an injury is stupid, but it is what it is.
He quit. There's no ifs, buts or maybes about it.
Last night, I seen enough of Ben Whittaker in that decision, in that ring, spewing it, and I think he did. I think he spewed it. That one moment told me everything I need to know about Ben Whittaker and where his head is at in this game. Quitting last night, bailing on a fight that had slipped through his fingers, looked like it was done. looked like it was going from him. Liam Cameron done him a bit of a favour pushing him over that road because it gave him an opportunity to check out to a fight that was slipping through his fingers.
Okay, now just before we talk about the Liam Cameron rematch, let's play devil's advocate here and ask some serious questions. Is there an argument to say that Ben has been unnecessarily thrown in deeper than a lot of other fighters due to his now monstrous fame? I mean, Liam Cameron recently took the very durable Lyndon Arthur to a split decision. Lyndon himself took the undisputed Bivol 12 rounds, so it don't get no higher than that, and yet this was only Ben's 9th fight. Maybe there is a debate to be had because, to be fair, Ricky Hatton didn't fight to British level till after 21 fights when he picked up the Lonsdale belt, and you know, Kell Brook took 17 fights to get to British level. Tony Bell used 16 fights, not to mention over in the USA, old Deontay Wilder. We've seen ice caps melt quicker than he fucking stepped up. So yes, has Benjamin been a victim of his own success in a way, because after he went viral, was there an expectancy of him to move up too many levels a little too soon? When the legendary Paul Smith was talking about the progression of Moses Atuma the other day, he summed it up perfectly.
That time of fighting with Hatton and Thaxton and that's when I just turned pro. You had 15 fights to learn your trade at the time, didn't you, Spence? You didn't really, your weights, you moved quick, and your weight division moved pretty quick. But nowadays, the fans also, and the promoters, they're expecting results winning your first 10 fights. And sometimes fighters need 10 or 15 fights to learn. It used to be the old saying, 20 to learn, 20 to earn. Now it's changed. Now it's probably 10 to learn, and then the rest to earn.
Well, that's attention spans of audience now, isn't it? Yeah. People are living in the phones. People are wanting things instantaneously. Society in general, you want it now.
So make of that what you will. I'm not trying to find excuses for Ben having a bad night here. It's just an observation. However, Liam was under the impression before the fight that this was too early for Benjamin, and by the looks of things, he was exactly right. Ben started unravelling as the fight progressed, and he maybe didn't have the experience to deal with certain situations simply because he hadn't been in that position before. But ultimately, make no bones about it, Liam was leagues ahead of Willings and Aaron Yecker, so maybe Ben Shalomus was a tad hasty with this fight and misjudged how good Cameron is. I find it hard to believe Frank Warren would have made this mistake if Ben were with Queensbury, but there we are. But then as for this load of carnage, fuck knows what to make of all that, although when we spoke to Liam, he was pretty convinced on who's to blame.
Aaron, it goes like that.
Tell us, for when you've got him then, tell us as you've gone forward, because you've got your arms up and you are pushing him forward.
So watching the fight back, he pulls his head back. It never happens in boxing that. He was trying to get out of the fight by low blowing. He was spat his gum shield out. The low blows were crazy. I'm still suffering now from him, but double jab right hand on knackers, it's not good, is it? But he definitely chucked himself for ropes. There's no question about it.
So regardless of who forced who over the ropes, let's not beat about the bush. Benjamin wanted no more. It's got to be said, because had that been old Frocci, for example, or Tony Bellew or Fury, do you think they're going to stay laying there on the floor, not even attempting to stand up? Of course not. They'd have David Hayed it out and fought on with one leg if they had to, and with no x-rays, no proof of injury for the fans, it just ain't a good look, is it? Like it or lump it, you're opening yourself up to a barrage of criticism, which he's already received. Anyway, then as for the old rematch, well, Liam obviously wanted it, but credit to Ben, he could have dodged it, he could have slipped off elsewhere and said fuck that, but instead he clearly wants to fight to right a wrong, so fair play to Ben for that one. I mean, I would have liked to have heard him say a bit more about it at the presser, but he was too busy eating his fucking dinner. Thanks for that, Ben. We all want to watch you eat a fucking meal deal, don't we? Quality. But then, as if this fight weren't already a shit show with the falling over the ropes, the controversial decision, the quitting jibes and whatever else, on top of that, old Shalom Letter's gone and fucked up the contract, ain't he? What a lemsip. You can't believe it, can ya? He said they used the template from a previous fight and forgot to change the amount of rounds. Terrific stuff. But yes, he's apparently rectified the mistake by shelling out a load of money because old Frankie Warren weren't budging. And okay, it might just be worth it because 10 rounds will certainly do Ben a massive favour, but let's be honest, it certainly don't scream fucking confidence, does it? But anyway, let's finish off by having a little guess at what goes down then, eh? Well, there was no showboating from Ben last time out, and there was a lot less slickness in his work, which was unusual to see. Instead, he was aggressive, he was scrapping up close, and you could tell he was looking for the knockout. Maybe he was trying to do a demolition job on Cameron to silence all the critics, but of course, that didn't happen. happen, and the game plan looked to be all wrong. So this time around, I reckon all that goes out the fucking window. Fair to say that his power weren't making a dent in Cameron, who's absolutely tough as nails, so it's quite hard to see him fighting with the same aggression this time. Not to mention Liam's body shots were causing him havoc up close, so I'd imagine he's likely to want to steer clear away from them as well. And yeah, I reckon he'll just resort to his slick boxing skills this time round, staying on the outside like a Parker against Wilder sort of thing, and then relying on that jab to try and accumulate the rounds. Be interesting to see how Liam deals with this if that's the case. I mean, will Ben's speed have him chasing shadows, or will Liam still be able to get in close and cause some problems? Essentially, it's just one of them fights that Ben's got to get through, innit? So it'd be just madness to take a load of risks like last time. In fact, that aggressive style for Ben potentially won't ever work for him, because it seems like he ain't got the haymaker to get their respect. Maybe I'm wrong about that, only time will tell, but there is one thing for certain: Liam Cameron definitely ain't got the respect for it, and that makes this double exciting, doesn't it? Fucking bring it on.